You know The Legend of Zelda, right? How it was basically a side-scrolling version of Mario Bros. That Nintendo executives liked so much they greenlit a full game of their own. Well, there's a similar story about Sega, the Genesis and Sonic the Hedgehog. But what if I told you the story behind Sonic might actually be a little different? Welcome to the channel. It's me. And today let's find out how Sega made Sonic the Hedgehog. The year is 1990. The place, an office park near Tokyo. After years of toiling and relative obscurity, Sega finally had a hit on their hands. Their new system, the Mega Drive or Genesis as it would be known in the West, was going to be released in Japan first. But before that, they needed a mascot to rival Nintendo's Mario. According to legend, Sega executives sat down several employees and told them to come up with a character that was fast, cool, and marketable to both Japanese and Western audiences. There were a lot of wacky ideas, including an armadillo, a rabbit, and even a caricature of Teddy Roosevelt in pajamas. Yeah, that last one. But none of these characters really stuck. Then artist Naoto Oshima came up with the idea of a blue hedgehog. You see, he had just returned from the United States where he saw the positive reception to the 1990 film, After the Sunset. The main character, played by Michael Douglas, was brash, fast, and cool, just like the Sega executives had requested. And what was the color of the main character's suit? Blue. Just like Sega. So Oshima designed a speedy blue hedgehog named Sonic, gave him some white gloves and red sneakers, and sent him off to Sega's American division for a photo shoot. In reality, it was more of a design meeting than a photo shoot, but it still happened. However, Oshima wasn't done with Sonic just yet. He also created the hedgehog's nemesis, Dr. Ivo Robotnik, a fat, evil scientist who wore a red, white, and black color scheme. Oshima also developed the first game's basic plot, which involved Robotnik capturing animals and turning them into robots. But these details would be lost on Western audiences. See, by this point, Sega had decided to market the Genesis as a more grown-up system, with more violent and mature games. So when it came time to release Sonic in America, they dumbed down the character and setting. Sonic was no longer a brave adventurer protecting the innocent. Now, he was just a spiky blue ball of energy, whose only goal was collecting rings. Robotnik went from being a maniacal scientist to simply an evil doctor. And the animal sidekicks didn't make the cut either. But despite the change in tone, Sonic the Hedgehog was released in June of 1991 to rave reviews. It was praised for its graphics, music, and addicting gameplay. Sonic was an instant hit, selling 3.5 million copies in 1991 alone. In fact, Sonic helped Sega outsell Nintendo for a few years running in the early 90s. And while the Genesis did eventually lose the console war, Sonic the Hedgehog remains a cultural icon to this day. But what about the in-game story? What's that all about? Well, Sonic's adventures are separated into games, which are often grouped together into numbered entries. The earliest games established most of the core elements of the series' lore. Sonic is a super-fast hedgehog who lives on a planet called Mobius. His arch-nemesis is the aforementioned Dr. Eggman, a genius but mad scientist who uses advanced technology and a giant army of robots to carry out his nefarious schemes. Each game typically begins with Sonic discovering Robotnik has captured several animals and turned them into robots. Robotnik usually wants to conquer Mobius, or perhaps rule the world, so Sonic sets out to stop him. Over the course of the game, Sonic will race through various zones, each with their own unique themes and environments. Along the way, he must avoid deadly traps, defeat enemy robots, and collect rings and Chaos Emeralds. Those rings are Sonic's trademark, not only serving as currency, but also deflecting incoming attacks. Collect enough rings and you can turn into a Super Sonic, allowing you to fly and unleash powerful new attacks. As for those Chaos Emeralds, there are 7 in total, each with their own unique color. Collecting them all gives Sonic even more power, allowing him to transform into Hyper Sonic, granting him the ability to destroy Robotnik's bases and defeat his ultimate weapon. It's a simple formula, and one that remained mostly unchanged throughout the 90s. Sure, there were spin-off games featuring different characters like Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, but most of the main games followed this basic plot. That all changed with Sonic Adventure in 1998. This title introduced a much more complex storyline involving alien races, time travel, and alternate dimensions. While it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, this new direction in storytelling would lead to some criticism, namely characterization. Sonic fans felt the character was written out of character, and the voice acting was panned as well. To make matters worse, the game sold significantly less copies than previous titles. Sonic would go on to appear in countless other games over the years. Some good, some bad. But that's a story for another time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.